If we're sitting here having this conversation and there's a 16 or 17-year-old young person on school holidays today and they just happen to be listening to this and they don't really know how to take that next move, how to tell somebody. They don't know if they can tell somebody. They're feeling very alone, very isolated, or afraid of being caught or something like that. To know that there are people out there who are lesbian and gay, who live perfectly normal, happy, healthy lives, that we are changing the world, that we are being... that it is becoming more acceptable and that it is becoming, as you said, normal. It is becoming the norm.
And I think the point, and you make it very well, it's to reflect society as it is rather than how we might want it to be in some ideal world.
Absolutely.
In the sense that you can't show any picture on air anywhere now of, say, a school playground without being sure to have a few multicultural children in there. And we will fall over ourselves to do that, to be politically correct.
Yes.
But we must do it on all fronts.
Yeah. And I think it's not only about being politically correct. I think it is about being sincerely inclusive. It's about not, I understand what you mean, not getting the token coloured child into a picture just to make things look like we're all inclusive. It's about actually being inclusive. It's about actually challenging homophobia. It's about being strong enough to say, you know, I know a situation that happened. A parent rang me a few weeks ago and she said, I was doing some work for my church. And somebody in the church's son had come out as being gay, and the women were having a chat and going, oh my God, how terrible. Imagine your son coming. And she was sitting there and her son was also gay. And she said, I felt, you know what, I can just ignore this and say, yeah, how terrible it would be, and ignore the fact that my son lives in another country and they'll never know. And she thought, you know what, I can't do that. And she said, I just had to challenge them and say, hold on here a minute, ladies, my son is also gay, and you know, when you talk about so-and-so's son like this, you hurt me because I have the same struggles as her. And she said having that conversation with them women made them go, wow, we didn't realise, like, why are we saying this then? So if you know, if your son, and how is he, and is he doing okay, and blah blah blah. And it changed very quickly, this hearts and minds thing, to now those women have two friends who have gay children, and that changes their attitude entirely towards lesbian and gay people. And it just was a conversation.
Do you believe that a parent always knows that their child is gay, and that if they say they don't, they're somehow denying it? Do you think they must, having raised this child from the age of whatever, know that the child is gay but they don't want to confront it?
I know that sometimes in a humorous way in our centre we have young people coming in, and they're young lads maybe, and they're really, really camp or very effeminate, and they go, my mother doesn't know, and I'd be going, is your mother blind, love? You know, does she live in the same house as you? Yes. So sometimes you can get the very overtly gay acting, or whatever you like to call that kind of camp effeminate thing. But I would say in general, no. We get a lot of young people who we probably would consider very run-of-the-mill young people. You'd see them in a group of kids and you would never pick them out that they were any different than the rest of the kids in the group. So it can be, and you become very, very skilled at hiding it. You know, you can live a full life without having to tell anybody, and you can manage it. It's like anything else. You know, you can learn ways and means of managing it so as that nobody else knows that you're gay. And it can be things like laughing at other gay people and calling people a queer and this kind of thing. And that's kind of testing the waters with your friends to make sure that...
Well, the article that I read that struck me there recently, I told you about the young lad who became terribly anorexic because of his stress around this issue. And I was just very conscious that he also mentioned in this article that he'd been bullied at school because of this effeminate behaviour that you're describing. Yeah.
That's, I think, a huge issue. I think bullying at school is a huge issue. Sometimes only on the presumed the presumption that somebody might be gay. You don't like sports, you're gay. You don't watch certain, I don't know, films.
You don't pick fights. You're not tough. You're not macho.
You like poetry, or you like music, or you can be called gay for all of these things. And it's relentless. It's where it doesn't stop, and where it happens all the time. And
what about the kids using gay in 100 different circumstances that are nothing to do with gay? They say, "Oh, don't be so gay," and they just think it's funny.
Yeah, or we have these conversations with youth groups and young people all the time, and they're going, well, look, we don't really mean it. Like when the chair's broken, we just go, that chair's so gay. And I was going, yeah, but you'd never say it if the chair was a brilliant chair. You don't say it to the winning football team when they come back.
Oh, you're so gay.
Yeah. But you will say it. It'll always be in the negative. It'll always be around a broken thing, a damaged thing, a rule that doesn't suit people. Your mother saying, none of yous are out after 7 o'clock to say, that's so gay or whatever. It's never in the positive. So when people, absolutely good meaning youth workers, we had a conversation with a few months ago, and they were going, look come on, you're being really PC. We don't really mean anything when we say you're so gay. But our argument is, why is it? Then start saying it about really good things. Start saying it about the team that bring home the Sam Maguire or bring home the equivalent cup to the football team or to the school. They are so gay that they got that football cup, and it just doesn't sit right with you to say it in a positive way. So why would you want to say it in a negative way? And the subtle message in there is that a broken, damaged, unfair thing is gay and negative, and it's never the positive. And so I would challenge all that. I would challenge the broken chair. How do you mean it's gay? What does it mean to be gay? Why are you saying that chair is gay? I would challenge that kind of stuff.
Can I ask you around the issue of gay marriage, and why even are we calling it gay marriage? Is it just marriage? And obviously that bill is going through the House, or will do. It's coming forward in the autumn with one of the issues that the government is going to be sort of up in arms about. What's your own feelings around that? And even, as I said, the descriptor gay marriage.
Yeah, I know. We had a conversation last night because a new group has just started in Dundalk last night, and it's called Marriage Equality Loud, and it's a group of people who are already in civil partnerships or who are engaged in planning to have civil partnerships, who want to move to that next step, and they want to make our political representatives aware that there are people in this region who want to have full marriage, not gay marriage. Not the conversation we were having last night was, I parked my car, I didn't gay park it. I had lunch, I didn't have gay lunch. So I want marriage, I don't want gay marriage. My sense is, of course, that to have, as I said to you earlier about the real inclusion, to be really inclusive, it should be marriage across the board for everybody. So lesbian and gay people should be entitled to exactly the same rights as...
And that new group you mentioned again?
Our Marriage Equality.
Marriage Equality.
Loud.
So for the educational purposes of you educating us here today, that's what we should be saying. We should be saying marriage equality, not gay marriage, indeed. Yeah.
So it's that's what it is. It's marriage equality. It should be equality for everybody, regardless of your sexual orientation.
Before we finish with you, Bernadine, would you mind telling us a little about the group and the actual work you do? And I know you have a 24-hour helpline and an outreach worker and all of that. Just tell us a little bit about that, how it works, in case anybody would like to contact you.
We have we have kind of two services running into one. We have a LGBT support group, which is a group for women. On a Wednesday night, there's a lesbian group meets there. There used to be a men's group, and they're taking a break at the moment. They're not there. And then there's a youth group and a young adults. So the youth group is 14 to 18, and the young adults group is 18 to 24. These run... you can go onto our website, which is www.outcomers.org, and you'll find all the details of all of those groups. And as I say, there's the new group now, Marriage Equality Loud, which is starting, and we'll have them up on our website by the end of this week. We do two different kinds of strands of work. One is we support the LGBT community. We support parents of people who come out. We take calls from
I was going to
teachers.
ask you that. If a young person dropped into you and is really going through a bad situation, trying to deal with this, would you physically go with them and sit down and try and have a chat
Absolutely.
with the parents?
Yes. We've met with parents. We've met with young people. We have met with school teachers. We've met with youth workers. So yes, across the board, we do meet with anybody who contacts us and needs our support and our service. So we do that, and that supports the LGBT community. But we also do educational work with the broader community. So we go into community groups, youth groups, schools, and we speak to youth leaders, teachers, elected representatives, anybody who wants to have a listen and find out more about it.
All right, Bernadine Quinn, Project Coordinator with Dundalk Outcomers, thank you so much for coming in to us today.
You're very welcome, thank you.